All right, guys. Hey, welcome to House of Prep. I'm setting this as a video, okay, instead of it being live. May make this a premiere. So if you're able to, you can still jump in to the chat because I want you guys to be able to say hey to each other. I know you enjoy kind of talking to each other. Kind of had just a busy week here and not going to be able to be on live tonight, but wanted to stop by. Had a few things I wanted to talk about. And you can see it's kind of rainy out here, but I thought it was kind of a nice backdrop. So a little different than last week. If you remember last week, I was out here doing the live Friday night, and there was the storms that were starting to come in. We were talking about tornadoes and such last week. Big shout out and thank you to Lorna for letting everybody know. Lorna had emailed me to make sure we were okay, and then I didn't see some of the comments coming on to the videos, and people were asking if I was okay, and Lorna kind of kept people updated. So thank you, Lorna, for doing that. Look, prayers, and thoughts and a lot of love to all the folks that have lost their homes. Some of them lost loved ones in these huge, massive tornadoes a week ago. And right before Christmas season, I can only imagine. Just absolutely devastating. Just lost everything in just a matter of moments. What a reminder of what Mother Nature can throw at us sometimes. Things are going great one day, and that could have been us. That could have been here in Tennessee. I'm luckily in my part of Tennessee, but it could have been in my neighborhood. Just very fortunate. Again, it's just another example that you don't know what's around the corner and what you prepare for. Now, the level that you choose to prepare for, that's on you. That's your choice. If you want to prep for an all-out zombie apocalypse, have at it. Hey, be prepared. You'll be prepared for probably just about everything in life if you've prepared for a zombie apocalypse, the end of the world, right? If you're prepared for that and you're thriving during that scenario, you're good to go with just about anything. But man, a tornado though, could you think of, what about your preps? All that work and all that preparedness and everything that you have prepped, the shelves, the totes, all the hidden spots around your house. I couldn't imagine, just gone in an instant, just leveled, just flattened, and sucked into the air, thrown and scattered around who knows where, right? So be thankful today if you've been spared from that and you're not in that situation. Count your blessings. Hug your family a little closer this Christmas season, and be thinking and praying for the families that are right now in a rebuild phase, and they've got a road ahead of them. So the next topic I wanted to talk about is Keystone. Now, we brought this up in a couple of my last videos. This past yesterday's video, mentioning some things, and I start reading people's comments, and the more I read, the more I want to dig into it. And sure enough, going to the Keystone website, if you're wanting ground beef, out of stock, all of it from the company, out of stock. Walmart.com, out of stock, right? Or you go on Amazon, maybe you find some that's just jacked up prices because it's supply and demand, right? And people are taking advantage of that, and just jacking up the prices. This one's beef. Same thing. You go to the company Keystone website, beef's out of stock. The smaller cans or the larger cans, either one, just totally out of stock. Pork, they had a little bit of the pork selection. Actually, they did not have turkey at the Keystone, probably because with the holidays between Thanksgiving and Christmas, people were probably stocking up on some of that, especially not knowing the prices or how much accessibility there was of actual turkeys, right? People were being prepared, which rightfully so they should. Chicken. They had chicken. Plenty of chicken. I'd give the update of my local store. We find Keystone at the Walmart, and that's where I like to go to look, and I like to see what kind of stock they have on the Keystone. They had chicken, so there's plenty of chicken cans. But again, they had no turkey, no pork, no beef, and they never carry ground beef. So those comments that you guys have kind of got me to really pay attention It's amazing because these had been there all of last year for relatively reasonable prices. I mean, we found some decent prices online, you and I. We were out there and people were finding some good prices and deals, and some at discount prices. But now they're dry. It's drying up. And I don't know if it's a can problem or if it's getting too expensive for them to buy the meats, or just shipments could be issues. So there's a lot of question marks to why all of a sudden Keystone's dried up. Now, some people may be hearing this for the first time, like, what's up with this Keystone? Well, it's a canned meat, okay? Typically depending on what you want. I mean, the canned chicken's typically like $6, $6 and change usually. Though some of you have said that you've noticed them jumping up $1, so prices are going up. The beef, the ground beef, you could find them maybe for $8 and change, maybe $9, depending on your region, your stores, maybe again supply and demand. So somewhere in the range from $6 to $9 for a can of meat, and it's in water with some sea salt. It's fully cooked. It's ready. It's edible. You can just heat it up and eat it. It's 28 ounces, so it's 1 pound, 12 ounces, almost 2 pounds of product in here. And for that $6 to $8 range, it's good to go. For 5 years is on the date, which if you keep it in a cool, dark, dry, air-conditioned, climate-controlled temperature area, I'm sure you can get a lot more than 5 years out of it. For me, it was a go-to instead of getting into the canning because, again, that's more work on my schedule and things. I'm like, well, I'll stock up on these. And relatively, instead of buying a jar and then buying 2 pounds of meat and then having to go through it with the lids and doing the whole process and that, I just bought one and I'm done, and I can put it away. And I'm glad I did because I can't find them now for the ones that I want. So anyway, that's just kind of like my thought process. Feel free to jump in the comments and explain why you like Keystone. I have done a couple of test tasting videos on Keystone. If who remembers me with my kids, Kirsten and Brock, they did some with me. If I think about it, I might try to put them over in the video description, maybe a link or something, if I think about it. Or one of you guys are wizards, you could probably put it right here in the comments of the live chat, or the chat, and put a link, if you don't mind, to one of my older videos of doing the taste testing. So that's for you that don't know. Now there's another group of subscribers by reading comments, and I've kind of known this. You can't find them at your stores anywhere. Your area, your region, it's just not happening. I know my parents in the region that they live in, they were not able to find it in any of their local stores. They actually went online back months ago and they ordered it. So, which leads me to the next topic. Who has had problems with dented cans before? I'm not going to demonstrate that here. I think some of you would enjoy that too much. So I'm not going to do that here. And with my track record of getting hurt and being injured, I think you would agree that I should not try to do that. So, but dented cans, it's a real thing. Whether it's through Walmart.com, whether it's through Amazon, to the company, there's always that fear and worry of dented cans. And some of you have had horror stories that I've read that you have dealt with dented cans. I personally, I think I did an unboxing of a Walmart shipment, which was a whole box of the ground beef, right? The unicorn meat, the hard to find ground beef. And I did an unboxing, and they had it up in this like bee's hive looking wrap, cardboard wrap, and they were incredible. I think one had a little dent on it, and that was it. Sometimes I think they may wrap already dented cans. And even though it comes up wrapped and stuff, and thinking of how they get dented, well, they came that way. And that's a shame if they did it. But unfortunately, when you're dealing with people and human beings in the workforce that we have out there today, I think you run into that more and more. So it's a risk. A lot of companies are good at giving you refunds. My mom gave a story where she had ordered some online. I think it was through Walmart.com, if I remember correctly. and they came all busted up, dented and stuff. And so they issued her a full refund of her entire order and told her to go ahead and keep the dented cans. Well, that ended up being a score, right? Score, you got all your money back, and at least, you know, you can go ahead and eat up the cans that you have and then just use that money to repurchase preps or stocks past that. It's a great opportunity. So that's Keystone. Wanted to spend some time with that. I hope that you guys are kind of discussing some of those things. Look, if you're newer to this channel, feel free to ask questions. Even though I personally cannot answer your questions, put them in caps. Hopefully there's some of our more seasoned preppers that are even more been down the road farther than me and have more than me, that have better knowledge than me in some of the areas of questions you might have. They'll probably be on here right now and be willing to help answer your questions. So feel free, put them in caps. Put your questions in caps and shoot away. If somebody doesn't get to it, shoot me an email. I'm more than happy. I try to respond to emails. Sometimes I miss them, or sometimes I listen or I read them and I forget to respond. You know, that happens sometimes. I intend to respond. Sometimes I forget. So it's not that I'm ignoring you. So please do that. Look, if you're new also and you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please hit the subscribe button and that little bell. Maybe some of you haven't hit the bell. That helps give you reminders. Does it always work? No, it doesn't. But it helps. Some people it does. So hit the bell for the reminder. And thumbs up the video if you don't mind as we're going along here. Appreciate it. It just kind of helps the algorithms and things. So that is a big help. Oh, and while I'm thinking of it, any last minute Christmas shopping or anything you do, in my video description down below, I always leave some kind of an Amazon link. You don't have to buy that item. You can just look at it, and then any searching you do through my link and purchases that you make for you while you're under my link, I actually get a small little kickback for that for the House of Prep channel. So appreciate those of you that have always done that month after month. I appreciate that. So things that we're heading to, and I'm just watching my wording right now, so you just have to bear with me. We know the code words and the way it seems like even me now with my more relaxed, easygoing type channel, little things just trigger these big messages that I get on my channel telling me that, you know, I'm in trouble or something. So just kind of being careful. But we know that the world has been going through the last couple years a big series of events, sicknesses going around, right? Along with, we have the flu, we have the strep throat, and then the variants of things that keep coming around. And we can kind of sense and see that it's coming around again. But look, don't freak out. Don't panic, okay? So many people around, and you start seeing it again. You start seeing their agitation and their worry and their anxiety, and the fear that starts coming in again. Look, the media is going to hound this thing and pound it again because that's how they keep you watching. Remember, fear sells. You know, people, leadership, use it for certain things. Look, don't just do what you got to do. If you have underlying health issues, do what your doctor tells you to do. By all means, look, take care of yourself. Put up the things in life that you know is going to be a roadblock, that's going to, a firewall, per se, for some kind of an alien invasion of things that might be coming at you. So do what you have to do to be clean, protect yourself, get the medicines that you need if your doctor recommends that you do that. Because let's be real, people do have underlying health issues, and you have to be very cautious with that. So do what your medical professionals are advising you. Maybe you have a lifelong doctor that you've always used that you trust. Talk to them. But as far as real life goes, are things going crazy again? Oh, absolutely. I think some places try to push it to another envelope, which leads me to someone sent me an email, and they said they were emailing me because they just wanted to kind of keep it private as far as who it is and the actual details of things. So I'm going to do that. But in another country, I can say that. It's already being live reported to me that serious crackdowns are being involved now, where even to go to the grocery store, you have to start proving things. I think you guys are understanding what I'm going with this. That it's now going to be required, I guess, at the start of the year. Any type of business and things. The first thoughts in my mind, man, it almost starts to think biblical, right? Like the end times of the things that may be needed or required to barter and to purchase things and to go places and to do this and to that and to travel. Well, that's kind of these other countries now that I'm getting some reports here that it's happening more than it has been. Like things are progressing farther along, and causing anxiety for people that aren't prepared or unwilling to get what everybody else is being told to get. And again, you know what I'm saying. And I hope, please be nice in comments. Please be just understand whatever moderators might be on here. I appreciate you guys monitoring. If people start getting too detailed or saying a lot of the key words and the names, you may just have to delete that comment. Now, look, don't get offended if your comment gets deleted. It's nothing personal. Look, our beliefs may be very much the same. It's just that I would like to keep my channel. I've had it for a year. I haven't been around a long time, but we've got a great family here. We've got a great group. We like to focus mainly on prepping, but sometimes we have to know what we're prepping for and to know our enemies and to know the issues. Okay, that's a good word. To know the issues that we have to deal with being a prepper and just being well informed. So yes, I watch the news sometimes, but again, I don't live on there. I mainly watch news for stock market stuff. When I'm playing a little bit with the stock market and things, I kind of enjoy when people get fear and scared and they sell everything off and it drops, because that's when I like to buy something and then watch it go back up and then sell it again. So I play with that. I dabble with that. It's a lot of fun. So look, food, water. There, we got food, right? Yeah, there's water in here too, by the way. So what a great another option. You've already got water. You don't have to add water to it. It has water. If you're having a water shortage or something going on, you don't have it handy. But let's talk about water for a second. Like, it's raining. Do you have some kind of a rain catchment system? I mean, while we're here and while you guys are in chat, we might as well talk about it. Like a large tarp. I have a large tarp, and then you have to funnel it into some kind of a barrel or buckets or an old swimming pool, something where you can collect rainwater if you needed to. I don't think you can hear it because it's kind of quiet, but down here in the middle of these trees back here, right now it's rushing. There's a creek going, and every time it rains, there's a creek just rushing through. So if I had to, I could grab some 5-gallon buckets. I could walk out down to the creek. I could scoop up plenty of water and bring it back up here to the house. So that's for, flushing toilets, or if you had to boil some to drink, you got to do what you got to do. So I hope that you've come up with some other solutions. Life straws, I know there's the brands, and again, you can throw them in the live, talk about them. If you might have a question about what kind of a life-saving straw, people use different ones, and there's different brands. So feel free to ask that question right there in the comments. But having that, I could drink straight from the creek. That was one of my first videos I ever did, a handful of videos. I went to a creek and I was drinking right from a creek. So you can do that. So there's just different ways that you can make sure that you have what you need to survive in any type of a really bad situation. How's your power situation? Generators. Do you have some kind of a generator? It could be a dual fuel, maybe like propane, having some gas. I recommend at least making it dual fuel. So don't just do gas only if you have a choice, if you can, because those big 5-gallon tanks that you can buy, at the store cages there, or wherever you go, you can get them. You can buy a brand new one at Lowe's or Home Depot and go get it filled at the local, place that has propane that you can buy, and they'll fill up your brand new containers. Those things will keep indefinitely. Just keep them stored safe. And if you had a big generator, for an emergency situation, you could use that. Having like a grill, propane grill, camping stove grills, lighting. What about heat for your emergency heat for your home? Those little Mr. Buddy heaters and things. So propane and things like that. Look, we're getting into winter. Some of you guys have already had snow because you've told me. And so snow's on the way, more ice, more cold weather, more fronts. You can see right now it's like 60-something degrees where I'm at. The weather's like this, up and down, up and down. Here comes a cold front with rain, and then temperature drops and stuff. So right now it's rainy and it's in the 60s. Feel like spring or fall. I don't know what it is right now. So it's crazy out here. But have some heat, backup, some things. The propane lanterns, just have backups to that. What about flashlights? What about batteries? Do you have enough batteries? Have you checked your batteries? Have you checked your lights? Have you checked your equipment to make sure everything's still operational? Yeah, you have a power outage. Now look, not every home that was hit by a tornado last week was leveled. Some people lost power for more than a day. So if that happened to you overnight, and you woke up the next day and had no power, and you find out they're not getting it fixed for a week, you got to consider that, because people have experienced that even longer. So do you have enough stuff to get you through? What if your refrigerator can no longer be running? Do you have a plan to eat that food up right away, or to get some ice for some coolers, or do you have a generator you can hook that fridge up to? What's your plan B on saving your preps? If you've got a full freezer full of food, some people have a second freezer. I know some of you have 2 freezers. Make sure you have something to prepare. If you've spent all that money on meats and proteins and preps, veggies and things you've got prepped away, make sure you have something to help protect that investment. It's like insurance. Getting a generator in that situation is definitely like insurance. Get it, practice using it, make sure you know how to use it, and to maintenance it if needed. And then that way when the time comes, it's there and available for you, and it'll save your preps. So finding different things to think about now as we're rolling into winter, and watching the real life examples of a week ago, you should be able to kind of retool your mind and retool your ideas and your thoughts about your home preparedness. And you might need to tweak something. Some of you have been affected by the storms. So you definitely need to retweak. If you have the no power and things, you might be going through it and realizing, wow, I didn't realize how bad this would be and how difficult this would be. What about even personal comfort? I use, and I've put them on some of my links before, those battery operated or USB port powered fans, right? The personal fans that you could put right by your head while you're sleeping at night, just to give you a little bit of comfort if it's kind of that warm, humid, or muggy evening. Like even in the 60s, like this, I'd like a little fan just at nighttime to put a little breeze across my face. Sometimes just the noise, and having a little bit of a comfort feel. So it doesn't always have to be about rice and beans. If you have the ability to get a few comfort items and to comfort things that might make your survival or you're getting through an issue just that much better, it's worth getting. It's worth having that. So look, do what you got to do, but let's move on. What about Christmas? Who's ready for Christmas? I loved putting in Thursday video and talking about some traditions. Some of you missed out on that. So throw in the comments, let's talk about some of your best Christmas traditions coming up. Are you thankful for that you have the opportunity to do your Christmas traditions, whether it's food? I talked about on Thursday, I talked about how I like to do on Christmas morning when I can, doing the steak omelets right? Coming out to this grill, firing it up, getting some steaks grilled up, going inside and slicing them all up, sauteing some mushrooms and some onions and green peppers, whatever you want. There's some cheddar cheese on there, and making these huge omelets. It's great food. Great. It's just a fun tradition. Some people make casseroles and things that way for Christmas morning. They're heating up in the oven while everybody's opening presents, and then they get to pull out those casseroles. So what are some of your family traditions? It could be anything. Christmas Eve could be a fun, big dinner, something different. I've heard things from Italian, Italian night themed, a seafood themed night, a pizza night. Could be just country food style eating night. Just any type of tradition. So I hope you're enjoying your holidays and your season, this Christmas time that's coming up. And I want to go ahead and break this up for now. It's been about 26 minutes. And I hope you guys have had a good time enjoying some of each other's company here on the chat. Like I said, it's not the full live, but at least it's a partial, right? And let you guys have some fun on there. But you guys take care. Have a great weekend. Okay, it's the weekend time. You guys enjoy the weekend, and I'll definitely catch you guys this week. All right, bye now.